Hello, I'm Kathy. Welcome to my studio. 15 years ago, I fell in love with the possibilities of applique and set out on a mission to find all of the best tricks and techniques to create some of my favorite things like these birds out of fabric. This quilt is called Songbirds in Summer, and I had a wonderful time developing 9 different little scenes for our birds to sit in so that I could share what I've learned along the way with you. There are 9 blocks in this quilt, and I'm actually going to demonstrate 5 different methods of applique, and then we're also going to do some hand embroidery, some thread embellishment to create the little nest for the baby birds off of the quilt. And then finally, I'm going to teach you to do some shading on all of these little pictorial objects with fabric paint crayons, which is a really fun thing to play with just in itself. You'll find a list for your supplies, you'll find your instructions for making the quilt, and you'll find the patterns for all of the blocks. Including on the scrub jay and the cardinals, you'll have reverse image patterns for the technique that we're going to use on those particular blocks. You'll need to print out everything that's in that folder, in that DVD contents folder, and then take all of the patterns that you've printed to your local copy center. You're going to ask them to take all of your patterns and blow them up 150% because the finished blocks are 12-inch blocks. And we'll work from these, so you'll need one pattern for every block and then the reverse image patterns for the scrub jay and the cardinal. While you're there, also ask them to just run you a piece of laminate, just what they clear plastic that they use to laminate things. You just need a 12 by 12-inch square of that. You don't need a very big piece because that's what we're going to use to trace over our blocks, and we'll use them for positioning aids. And I will show you a lot more about that as we continue on. You don't need 9 different squares of clear plastic, because if you just take some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel, you can just wipe this clean and use it for your next block. And that's even if you use a permanent Sharpie marker, that'll be no problem for you. So once you get all of your patterns made, the very first thing that we need to look at and talk about is the concept of layered applique. So in piecing, you're going to take all of those geometric shapes, and all of those shapes need to line up and their seam edges come together. But in applique, what we are actually going to do is be layering things up. So in this little block, for instance, you make the nest. To make the back side of the nest, the babies go in the nest, then there's the front side of the nest, and then maybe on top of that is actually branches and leaves. So all of those are layers, and that's what we need to explore in each of the blocks first. So I'm going to take a look at this bluebird block with you, and we're going to discuss how to layer and how to make templates for all of the shapes within those patterns. So let's get started with that.